Música variada, interesantes shows en vivo, tu mejor opción en internet, radiocristalUSL.com. Música.
Hi, bienvenidos a mi show. Welcome to Catching Up with Claudia. Now, ojalá que se puedan quedar hasta el final para que puedan escuchar lo que va a compartir mi invitada o mi invitado. Así es que no se les olvide también de seguirnos por las redes sociales. Estamos en todas las plataformas. Hasta luego. Hola, hola, ¿cómo están todos? This is La Super Comadre Claudia, catching up with La Super Comadre Claudia, and we're back. I'm doing it every other Tuesday, so just want to let you know that we will be here, not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. But every time we come together, I'm always bringing some amazing people that are going to come on and share what they're up to, and then catch up with them and catch up with me, because, you know, I got caught up to 50. Oh my God, ahora sí soy cincuentañera y pues aquí estamos porque vamos a hablar de la cincuentañera era porque es donde estoy ahorita y ya estoy lista porque otra vez, the last time we were recording, I got hot, so I got a fan ready. And then if the battery runs out, I got this ready. I am ready for the show now. Porque, you know, ya llegué a esa etapa, ¿verdad? Donde pues ya te llegan los bochornos, but it's okay. I'm still hot on the inside and out. But I want to catch up with you guys because I'm going to talk about my dream trip, the nightmare of a hurricane that we had. We're going to talk about Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood because there's a really beautiful quote that came to mind when I was watching what was unfolding here in Houston with Hurricane Beryl. Y luego vamos a hablar, we're going to talk about celebrations. And then we're going to share some resources because anytime that I bring someone on, I want to make sure that you take away something that's going to help you, going to help your family, going to help anyone around you. And, you know, so that's what this is about, catching up with like Comadre Claudia, you know, in my cincuentañera era. And estábamos calculando que ya vamos para el año número 8 haciendo este show. And it's been an amazing journey, an amazing ride, you know, being able to be here on radiocrystalusa.com. And don't forget that if you miss a show, don't worry. You can always come back, watch, and listen on our YouTube page, Facebook, Twitter, where else? LinkedIn, everywhere that we have a social media platform, you can always come back. And we also have music. So listen to the music while you're working out, while you're cooking, while you're folding laundry, while you're working remotely or working, you know, in otro lugar. Listen to radiocrystalusa.com. Hay música suavecita, también movida para que puedas bailar mientras estás trabajando y pensando y imaginando en todas las cosas que quieres hacer en tu vida. So, I want to bring on my sound engineer, my Liliana Super Comadre Elizondo, who is the person behind radiocrystalusa.com, always making sure that we're connected, that we have music, that we have programming. So what have you been up to, Liliana? Because we got to talk about what happened for a week.
Uy, no, hombre, ¿qué no hice, comadre? ¿Qué no hice? No, pero fíjate.
¿Cómo te fue con el huracán? Porque quiero saber de ti, de tu experiencia.
Muchos días sin luz. Y luego vino la luz por unas horas. Came back for a few hours. And we're like, okay, we're safe now. Y se fue otra vez. And we were like, oh, no. So we suffered from the heat.
From the heat, yeah.
But it was nice. I mean, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
We could save our food from the fridge.
Oh, qué bueno. Qué bueno.
My brother got us a generator, so we saved it.
Ay, qué bien, qué bien.
Yeah, but most of the time I spent it watching movies on YouTube.
Catching up with YouTube.
Yeah, catching up with YouTube and I mean, and practicing my songs and I mean, and then I was just writing my book. I kept writing about it. So I mean, I mean, we always have something to do.
Yes, the silver lining. Even in the heat, you were still just moving forward with your dreams, writing it out, music, and you had a generator. Thank God that you had that and you had that ability to have that generator, because now I'm like, I need a generator in my life.
I think everyone needs one.
I should have asked for that for my cincuentañera. Yes, I think my cincuentañera birthday present, I should have put generator and gasoline tanks, because apparently that's what we're going to need here in Houston moving forward. That was scary.
Hurricane season just started.
Apenas vamos en la B, comadre. That was barrel. We have C all the way out through Z and beyond.
So we have to get ready.
So yeah, we need to get ready, and also we need to continue, even though we get ready and prepare and all that, but also put the pressure on where we need to put the pressure, to make sure that these things get fixed, because we gotta always, la super comadre always talks about, ay, ya va a empezar con las elecciones y la la la. Todo está conectado. A long time ago, I've been here since I was born here in Houston. I had my first hurricane experience in 1983, Huracán Alicia. We didn't spend this much time in the dark, honey. It was only like 3 days or so at the most. Maybe.
Well, with Huracán Alicia, it was, for us, was 10 days.
Yeah. So hay muchas cosas que tiene que cambiar, ¿verdad? Porque cambiaron muchas cosas. It began with the deregulation of the public utilities. So once the deregulation happened, because we used to have Houston Lighting and Power. And I remember even it was called HLMP. HLMP, cuando venían las troquitas, también cortaban las ramas, porque estaban diciendo que las ramas no se acercaban a las líneas. We don't have that. And all that went away because once it became deregulated, then we were able to buy freely who we want electricity to be. So there was no more oversight to look at, to make sure to manage. So I know that we live in Texas, and there's certain things that we don't have, like to keep an eye on things. But I think now, especially after the freeze, and now that we've had all of these things happen under the current leadership of the state, that's been this way since the deregulation in the mid 90s. This happened under Bush too. And so we just have to keep in mind, we want to make sure that they don't put profit over people, that businesses don't put money and profits over people, that we got to make sure that even though, we all want to make some money. We all want to pay our bills. We all want to have a good life and a good home and everything. But I think everybody should have that ability to have that too. So we should have some oversight. We don't want always the people at the top pocketing all the money. We want to make sure that there's common sense in business, that people get taken care of, because not everybody can go buy a generator. There's some people that are living paycheck to paycheck, and now it's like we want to make sure that things are in place so that we don't freeze, so that we don't lose the grid when it gets cold, and also I know, and so that we don't melt. Unfortunately, we've lost some lives here in our beautiful city because they're just trying to survive, where they're trying to stay cool with a generator and the carbon monoxide poisoning.
Exactly. A lot of people don't know how to use them.
Yeah, and just it takes time, and it takes education and resources to be able to handle that. So hopefully, and also I want to give a shout out to the workers. And I thought about this quote, comadre. I don't know if you can pull it up. I don't know if you remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh yeah, I have it right here.
Day in the neighborhood. It's a really effing hot day in the neighborhood, but would you be mine? Would you be mine?
My neighbor.
My neighbor. And I thought about this quote when I started, looking from afar, because I'll let you know where I was at when this happened. But this quote that Mr. Rogers said, when I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. And I thought about that quote as I saw, people in my friend group, my comadres, past, guests, people close to me, leaders, whether they were in office or not, they just stepped up. They were stepping up to make sure that people were fed, people had ice. We had even elected officials who were also without power. Everybody was affected in some form or manner. But to see everyone stepping out and doing what was right, even though they were going through their own stuff, I mean, it was just beautiful to see. And also, just remember, even though we want to get mad at the linemen out there driving the trucks, they're just doing their job. Let them do what they can do. And I get it. We want them to do it faster. We want them to do it a certain way, but they're also waiting for their orders. So all we can do is just yay, move out of the way when they're coming down the freeway. Hágase un lado porque ahí vienen las trocas para venir a poner las líneas. Quítense de ahí.
Como decía mi abuelita, si no ayuda, no estorbe.
Es verdad, no estorben, quítense y déjenlos trabajar, because there's been some threats and we got to make sure that we don't lose these workers because we need them. Yeah. And it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be angry, but take that, find a way to release it, but don't take it out on the people that are trying to help us, but I know it's hard. I can't, yeah, they're just following orders, and that's just it. They're doing the best they can. They're following from the top down, but let's not forget what happened. We got to take that energy and go and figure out what's going on, ya cuando se calme todo, ¿verdad? And expect our elected officials who need to be, looking into these things, ask those questions of the CEOs that are running, why did this happen and what do we need to do to make sure it doesn't happen again?
And I think the main part of all this is what did we learn?
Yeah, what did we learn from this? Yeah, because there's a lot of learning that's been happening since 2000 and whenever that freeze was.
So we learned that we have to save money to buy a generator.
Mm-hmm.
we have to have it running. We have to have it, a good one. If you want to have your entire house, or just for your fridge. I mean, so at least you don't lose your food.
Yeah. And it just always, coming back to the people that are running these things. Make sure that it running the grid, running the lines. What are we making sure that's happening so that they're not cutting corners and making the profit and taking it home? We want to make sure that I went to Cancun, so that's where I was at, guys. I went to Cancun and I watched this barrel thing coming to us before we left.
La comadre ya con su piña colada.
No, yo que estaba tomando más por el pinche huracán. Estaba like, oh my God, ¿cómo están todos? Otra margarita, oh my gosh, ¿cómo están todos? Otros. Y la noche anterior, the night before I flew out, I was getting some messages from Southwest y decían, your flight might be diverted, canceled, delayed, because of the hurricane. Yeah, ahí estoy. But and I was like, this thing is coming to Houston even before. Once I saw it pass through the Yucatan Peninsula and it flopped into the Gulf, I'm like, this monster is coming to Houston. I told my girls, I told Angel, it's coming to Houston. Watch, it's coming to Houston. I can feel it. I'm at Babruja right now. It's gonna come. and I already had the trip planned, and I'm like, and then I was looking at it. I need to be the meteorologist. I was just like, feeling the wind. It's coming this way. It's coming this way. And I was going to switch the trip. I was going to just cancel it and move it. And then I talked to my friend, my comadre that went with me. And I said, oye, tú eres hermosa, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo ves? Vamos. Sí, vamos. Al cabo le van a hacer la vuelta alrededor. ¿Estás segura? Porque yo no quiero que se caiga la puerta y se caiga. ¿Tú has visto los aviones? No, this is for real, girl. Like we've had some airlines that lost the door, lost the wheel.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Turbulence, and they get stuck in the overhead bins. I'm like, I don't want them to not lose money because they're trying to get me to Cancun. She goes, no, they'll be fine. They're gonna go around it. Well, we went all the way around. We went all the way to Louisiana. We went to Austin, Louisiana, and then we came down. But we felt a little bit of turbulence, and the pilot said, well, we will be flying, blah, 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 because we're going to be feeling some of the effects of the storm. I'm like, what? I couldn't sleep anymore. So I was drinking on the plane. And then No,
let me pass out.
but just give me a drink. But I really was praying, really hard. And my comadre Leslie and we were in Cancún, habíamos llegado bien, gracias a Dios. Y toda la noche yo estaba en mi habitación viendo todo, ¿verdad? Talking to my parents and texting everybody. Y ella en su habitación igual.
We had a low signal the first 2 days. I mean, the signal was very low. I think everyone was on the phones at the same time, and signals went down.
Oh my God, I just watched it and I was just like, my heart is with you guys, and I just want to make sure my parents, first and foremost, parents.
My heart's with you guys.
My heart's with you guys. So is my liver. But no, for real, it was bittersweet. It was hard to enjoy because I kept thinking about everyone that was over here going through it and seeing on Facebook all the postings of, you know, the lights being out. And I was in the heat, but of course, if you want to pull up some of those pictures, I did have a chance to just hold on to that trip because it was something that I've been wanting to do with my girls. And I also wanted to, if I didn't do it, by the time you reschedule and go, I had a chance to celebrate my 50th birthday on that beach. And then when I took them to Chichen Itza, and we had a chance to visit Chichen Itza. También buscamos un cenote y nos brincamos adentro del cenote. Y aquí estamos en unas piedras bien bonitas allí que están afuera del hotel donde nos hospedamos. Y ahí estoy. This is me. I like this picture because I'm always like, are we ready? Are we ready to go? Y las caras de ella, Mom.
Come on.
I'm always looking at my watch. Come on, let's go. But it was beautiful. I still kept up with everything in Houston. I was just like, is everyone okay? Is everyone okay? You know, my parents especially because they're older. And then Ángel, you know, my boyfriend, and hasta Lex también. Are you okay? You know, everybody got called. You know, and it was bittersweet, but I tried to let go. And honestly, you know, comadre, this is the first time I didn't do any work for 2 weeks.
That was good. I mean, you let your brain relax.
I did. Okay, I took one laptop.
Very much needed.
Yes, I did it. I didn't take my work laptop. I took my play laptop, the one that I like, you know, all my stuff like this. But it was the first time that I actually did nothing, and I just looked at the water. And I just was breathing and enjoying. I was living the moment, and especially seeing my girls. Because I had this dream, this vision that I was going to come back with them. Hace 5 años fui con la misma comadre. Y dije, yo voy a regresar a esta playa. And right there when we took that picture on those rocks, I took a picture there by myself and with my comadre. And I was like thinking, one day I'm gonna go back and the rocks.
I mean, there are so many things that make our lives better.
Yes.
So why not relive?
Exactly. And so I had a chance to relive that moment and there with my girls. And then going into my cincuentañera era, it was just, you know.
Híjole, comadre, yo te voy a alcanzar también.
You need some air?
Yo creo que sí, porque no me alcanza
estoy echando aire ahorita. Do you feel it?
Yeah. Era de la cincuentañera.
La cincuentañera era, I know. So one thing I do want to share, and I
want to see that. What is that? Let me see what it says.
Me lo dio una amiga, Brenda Bravo de la Rosa.
Segundo barrio.
White Rhino nos regaló esto porque nos dio todas ahí, todas las señoras vibes. Que nos estaba dando mucha calor y nos sacó a todos. Mandó el hijo. Ve, reparta esto porque se están desmayando del hot flash. Y nos sacó el niño, los abanicos y todas las señoras nos regaló.
Qué feo se siente que te digan señora.
Señora, me falta un abaniquito, sí.
No, lo peor cuando te dicen doña.
No, oh my God. I am not ready for that. No.
The worst one.
Ahorita si
me más me cae mal.
Ahorita si me dicen doña, me voy a tener que poner así. Doña.
¿Qué va a querer, madre?
Doña. No, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. No.
Hey,
No.
comadre,
A ver, el escote.
I have to get ready to be called a mimo.
Oh, that's right.
I'm going to be a grandma.
You're going to be an abuelita, but you don't want to be called abuelita?
Yeah, I do. Now I do.
Now you do? Pero ¿cómo que ¿qué es mimo? But that's not an abuelita.
Mi mima.
Okay.
Mima.
You just don't want to be called abuelita yet.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, in English, I would baptize you as Glamma.
Glamma.
Oh, you're glamorous. Glamorous grandma. Glamma.
So I'm gonna tell my grandson.
Oh,
it's gonna be a boy.
Congratulations.
So I'm gonna tell my grandson to call me Grandma.
Grandma. I love it, comadre. I love it.
Who do we have here as a special
Oh my gosh. Well,
you know, I'm gonna be behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
And I wanna thank our sponsors.
Yes, bring them up. You have I think I sent you our sponsors, which have to do with this too. Echándome aire porque.
¿A quién me mandaste, comadre?
So, te lo mandé en los sponsors es una foto que tengo a todos, empezando con Glam Boutique, son los aretes de Frida, porque ¿sabes quién más cumpleaños en julio?
¿Quién?
Frida Kahlo.
Oh,
so I'm wearing Frida Kahlo earrings from the Glam Boutique, and this is a ring that matches my flower from the Irosa's Glam Boutique. Another sponsor is Men Awake. Men Awake, las cremitas y los liquiditos que te ayudan con los bochornos.
Here we go. Aquí está.
So aquí viene.
Here they are.
So here are my sponsors, Men Awake. Don't forget, contact Men Awake because you don't pause, awaken.
Oh.
You want to, even though you get hot, it's okay. It's just accept it and take your Men Awake cremita y te lo untas y te ayuda con los bochornos.
Anything helps.
Anything helps. Y está hecho de yams. ¿Cómo se dice yams en español? Camote. Y acá Ilsa's Glam Boutique. This is her new logo. You want to zoom in. There's Ilsa right there, and that's her Ilsa Glam Boutique. So I got some earrings. Her happy birthday, Frida. Belated birthday. I think it's July 7th. And I'm July 14th. And also Chris Pignon from Chris Pignon Media Studios. I did a birthday shoot, so I'll show that later. But he's the one that's always taking the pictures for my promos here for RadioCrystalYossi.com. And also shout out to Cookie Face. I put on the Cookie Face lip shimmer. And she also sent me some more eyelashes in the mail, and I have those. So Cookie Face Cosmetics, thank you for sponsoring Ines's Glam Boutique as well. Thank you, Men Awake and Chris Pignon Media Studios. Make sure you contact them, follow, like, and share them on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. Get glammed, get your lashes, get your cosmetics, get your cremita, and get your picture taken. Because you know what? You gotta live. You gotta live the day, be present. Stuff's always gonna happen. And as long as you're breathing and you can get up and get out of bed, do that. And you know what? If you don't want to freaking get out of bed, quédate en la camita también. It's okay to stay at home, stay in bed, and then get up and keep going.
Good job.
That's all we can do.
Good job, comadre.
All right, so
nice phrases, good phrases.
Sí.
Love the words. Comadre, I'm going to be behind the scenes.
Bueno, comadre, después hablamos al final.
I need you to present our special guest.
Yes, because Mr. Rogers said when there are scary things happening, like hurricanes, like this hurricane that came through Houston, look for the helpers. That's what his mom told him. And that was one thing that I looked for. And I wanted to highlight one of the helpers that stepped up after hurricane, and she herself was going through all kinds of things herself. But I want to bring her on so that she can share what she did, who she is, and it's a little bit of a reunion because this is one of my hey comadre, hey comadre co-comadres, and she's back. And I wanted to bring my comadre Marianne Garcia, who is a founder, leader, creator of Raíces Unidas. And comadre, how are you?
Hey, I was like I was trying to hurry up and finish my sandia.
I saw you eating sandia.
I'm like, I'm watching the show and I'm like biting into my sandia because this has been the longest week of the Monday or the Monday of the week or whatever.
Algo así.
Algo así ever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How
yeah,
are you?
I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back with La Super Comadre and just recapping on the beautiful weekend that we had. Not only did we have the opportunity to give back, but we had the opportunity to celebrate life with you and Angel and celebrate friendships and just coming together. And this is what it's all about. This is why I love Houston, because we are so resilient. As corny as it sounds, we are.
So take us to that day before the storm came in. Where were you? What were you hearing? How were you prepared for this? Did it catch you off guard? Tell me, how did you experience it? Tell us.
Well, let me just tell you that I was supposed to be leaving to Monterrey with my kiddos for 4th of July. And, it was one of those like, should we go? Should we not go? What should we do? But then, a lot of people that are close to me know that I have my father who's sick. And so he's on hospice. He has all his, medical equipment, oxygen and all that. And so we were contemplating, well, he's good, but the reason why we were kind of like on edge is because originally the hurricane was going to go towards Mexico and like the bands were going to hit the valley. And so I wanted to go with my kiddos to Monterrey shopping. And so we were going to drive. And we were going to go with a family member. And so our thing was we didn't want to get caught in the rain on the way back. That's why we didn't go. We ended up staying and the sucker comes straight to
I know.
Straight to us. And you know what? I'm glad that we stayed because my parents instantly lost power, but because, we have my father's medical equipment hooked up. We have a backup generator, one of those, hooks up to natural gas line. And so, typically in those situations, we really don't worry because we have them hooked up, but we didn't realize the magnitude of the effect it would have because it was just a Hurricane 1,
Categoría 1.
A 1. And not to mention that, like, we're the 4th largest city in the nation. Like, we should have our, together. Not only that, but we're the only state in the entire U.S. that has their own electrical grid, So it's like, we'll be fine. We lose power, but no, that's not the case. Not only did we not, my parents were good, but, and we were trying to accommodate as many people as we could because everybody was displaced. I was displaced. I didn't have I just got running water, 2 days ago.
Wow.
My parents, the generator, so that backup generator that they have, it's not designed to provide electricity for an entire house for 8 days straight. It's like an emergency type of thing.
2 días, algo así.
Max. And so it actually went out on us or on my parents. When was it? For a Saturday night. And, my mom calls like at 3 a.m. The generator went out, your dad doesn't have oxygen, and luckily I don't live far. We have family members that don't live far. Like we all hauled butt over there and, we were able to figure out a backup for my dad while we figured out what was going on with the generator. They brought an extra. It was just like we had a plan A, plan B, plan through Z, for my dad.
Good.
Case, I had to have a heart to heart with my dad. I'm like, Dad, I know you don't like going to the hospital because he was just in the hospital on life support.
Yeah.
And he was traumatized. He doesn't like it. He doesn't want to go back. So I'm like, look, Dad, worst case scenario, I'm going to have to get you to a hospital where there's oxygen for you, because if something happens where this generator goes out, this other one doesn't start, you cannot breathe, sir. And I don't care what you tell me, we're going to get you to a hospital. And so he didn't like it, but he had no choice.
Yeah, ni modo. Yeah, ni modo. Vámonos.
So it was one. I tell people those were like the scariest 15 minutes of my life. Because
you described that you were literally doing the bag.
Yes,
too.
it's called an ambu bag. It's called an ambu bag. And so we were like, I was pumping it. He'd inhale, a breath of air, and then I would count with him, slowly, just so that he wouldn't hyperventilate. And he was just, so we did that for 15 minutes straight. We'd pump the bag, he'd, inhale, count, relax, just kind of keeping him, chill and at peace, and then pump the bag again until outside my cousins were trying to figure out the backup generator so that we could hook up his oxygen. Once they figured that out, then they went to the main generator to try and figure out what happened to that, because it's not supposed to give out. And then that's when we, later on we find out that those are not designed to run for 8 days straight. They're only designed for backup emergencies, a couple of days max. And so, it definitely is a learning situation. But in all honesty, guys, I mean, I know that we should be prepared. We all should be prepared. We should be held accountable for our own,
absolutely,
for our own safety. But
at qué magnitude?
Exactly. To what magnitude? Like, that's the thing. Like, that's why we have these big corporations that get paid the big bucks. They have federal dollars, federal funds to be able to provide electricity. I mean, we're operating like we live in a third world country. How is it that our neighbors in Mexico can figure it out? That conversation.
You're bringing up a good point, because that's what I was doing in Cancun. I was supposed to be taking care of myself, and I was enjoying, but everywhere I went, I'm like, okay, so I booked some tours. You saw, I took him to Chichen Itza. I wanted to take him to Tulum, but I couldn't do all the tours. I just did one. And when I got there, we got there on Sunday. The storm came through on Monday. Tulum was closed for like maybe 2 days. Chichen Itza 1 day. Then they were up and running. Okay, Tulum got hit really bad.
Yeah, I saw pictures.
It was terrible.
They're literally right on the water.
Yeah, and exactly. But they were back in business. And then as we were driving on a little dirt, looked like a little dirt road between Cancun, Quintana Roo, Yucatan, going to Chichen Itza, I was studying, like, okay, why is it that these buildings are still standing? They've been slammed with hurricanes, and they're in the middle of the ocean here. It's just a peninsula, pero todo es de block. Okay, can we do that? Can we build differently? Do we need for Houston to act like a coastal city now?
They still have power lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the lights were. You know what I was using to pay for
power lines there? It's a jungle.
I was using my phone to pay, like Apple Pay, and I'm like, didn't we just have a hurricane come through here? How is it I'm here in the middle of nowhere, right on the outskirts of Chichen Itza, and I'm buying some chingadera? I'm sorry, some chucheria. It was beautiful, and with my phone in the middle of, and then as we were on the bus going over there. Yes, I'm looking at
the fourth largest city in the nation, and I can't even log into my damn Zoom. Like, I get it.
You couldn't even drink some water. Your dad couldn't even breathe.
I went back to the early 1900s, pushing
literally.
And it's like, how is this even possible?
How is this? Well, it is possible. I think for
sure.
It is possible, but it's up to us to keep the pressure on even after we go through this. It's with our voting. It's with us making sure that even though we're back to our air-conditioned homes, that we don't forget this. Like, let's not forget how we froze our butts off too, because that's also that pressure. But Gomis, I was on that bus looking at these postes after this on the way and then the middle of the jungle. But you know what they do? What I noticed, their postes are not made of wood. They're not wooden postes. And another thing is that the postes are nestled in the jungle. So they didn't clear the land. Right. They nestled the postes in the
it's that Mexican ingenuity.
Yes, exactly. Like here, aquí, ¿quieres hacer algo? Tumban todo, quitan tierra, quitan, and then they build.
Lo que digo yo es de que, claro, pierden electricidad, pero a las 24 horas, 48 horas, ya la tienen de vuelta. O sea, ¿qué estamos haciendo nosotros? que no podemos hacer lo mismo que en México, que no tienen los recursos, que no tienen todos los recursos que tenemos nosotros at our fingertips. You know what I mean? Like, we have these resources. We
should. And if Ted Cruz, I'm going to say it, I know Ted Cruz went to Cancun when it got really cold here. Now I can say, hey, if you're going to go to Cancun, go and study the infrastructure. Go and figure out, why. Girl, they're still trying to put windows downtown from the storm in May.
Girl, I have a view of it right here. The dang tornado passed right by.
¿Qué pasó allí? Allá acaba de pasar los huracanes, and I don't see no broken windows. What windows are you using here? But see, that's just the thing. We need to stop cutting corners.
Well, it's funny that you say that because, I read an article somewhere and I can't quote or cite where I read it, but the interesting thing is that what I read was when the crews were coming out back in 2021, February 2021, for the freeze, that they were trying to just quick fix, right, to get electricity back. And so they were just kind of like, just gluing things together, for lack of better words, right? Just band-aiding things. And the whole point was to get electricity back, right? But then they were supposed to come back to fix it the right way with more time. Well, they're finding that a lot of those quick fix band-aids were never fixed. No. They were never fixed by our people here,
because there's no oversight. The reason why Mexico is where they're at is because they have not been deregulated like we were. So we were deregulated in the 90s under Bush too. There was legislation that went through, and then so now we have free market, so everyone can buy their own electricity, right? But they're carrier, and so there's no more oversight. In Mexico, you just have one company takes care of it, and that's it. We used to have something called Houston Lighting and Power, HLMP, and that was the company, and that was it. There was nothing else. And but then, you want to make money, and companies wanted to make money, so they had legislation passed through so we can deregulate, and that's what happened. Now, back to what you said. Alex, my ex, works for a Power Energy. When he got here from California in 1997, his job was to go to those places that create the electricity and then shoot it out. And his job was to quote those places that make the power. And he always came across people that they didn't want to pay. They only wanted to do the minimum.
Yeah.
But there was no one there to do the oversight and say, no, you got to bring it up to this standard. They only did the minimum. And there was documents, and there's stuff now that's out there. Like, I don't know where exactly it is, but I have a magazine that actually talked about, and it predicted what was going to happen in 2021, because they were not taking care on the front end, the machinery, hacer las cosas bien, nomás band-aid o no, porque no querían gastar el dinero. Claro. And then, so that's where we need to make people accountable, the people at the top. Because you're right. I'm all about being responsible, pero te dicen, compra agua, compra tu comida, and la gente, pues, of course, you're going to save as much as you can and be able to purchase that. Go to the dollar store, Family General, whatever.
You're resourceful. I get it.
Yeah. Pero there's also some bigger things that we need to continue pushing. And I know there's been a lot of our friends that are going to hearings, like Conchita Reyes, she's working with Center Point and making sure people.
God bless her.
So a shout out to her. She's sending Center Point the names and addresses of people in situations that need it. So I don't know if you want to speak on that a little bit.
I do need to send a shout out to Conchita Reyes. She, we have a chat between all of our friends, and she's part of it. And I was just sharing my experience because it was just so scary, what I experienced with my father. And, quick, what's the name? What's the address? That next day we had someone out there checking it out. And, not to say that, my father's more important than anyone else. By all means, we're all displaced. Yeah. But my dad literally didn't have oxygen to breathe, and it was the scariest thing ever. And
you're already doing the right thing. You got the generator.
Yeah, we
had a backup generator.
Yeah, we went and we did, we got prepared. We've been prepared. I mean, we've had that generator for my dad for 10 years and and we didn't even know that thing existed, to be quite honest with you. It was because my dad was on a lung transplant list that one of his doctors told us, hey, your dad, in order to qualify to be on that lung transplant list, he needs to be on that nebulizer every hour on the hour, and you have to document and log that. And if for whatever reason you guys miss even one treatment and there is a lung available for the transplant and you cannot prove that he's been doing his treatments, he will get disqualified. And all, insurance companies are finding any little excuse not to pay for that surgery. And he was saying, and it doesn't matter if you lose power, it doesn't matter if you run out of it does not matter. And I said, okay, so what do we live? And at that time, that was our concern. Well, we live, by Galveston. Like, what if we get a hurricane? What if they're like, well, you know what? This is what I tell my patients that are, on this lung transplant list, get a backup generator. And he's the one that told us about this when you hook it up to a natural gas line. So we did our homework. We learned
it. You did it. You prepared.
Yeah. And it didn't matter because even then it's not designed for, that long term, it's a Band-Aid basically.
It's por mientras.
But yeah,
so that we get everything back online, and
designed to provide electricity or power that long. So I mean, we were prepared, and even then, we went through that experience where he could not breathe. Well, I mean, wow, and even all of these people that are losing their lives because heat exhaustion,
carbon monoxide poisoning,
exposures. Like it's just, I think that. I read somewhere that it's up to like 13 now. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, it is. And so we again just need to continue pushing, and there's hearings, I think, and just making sure that once we get through this, that we continue to push that envelope, to show up. I love how we have that text thread going, and I see everything being posted about hearings, about this, about let's make sure that. Yes, we're working with Centerpoint. Conchita Reyes, thank you so much. Shout out to all the work you're doing and making sure people are being listened to and heard. It's because you get the most vulnerable people that are being affected. People that are old, our parents, are we, How are you doing?
Todavía, and I was going to say, todavía nosotros, like, we're dealing with it too, I'm kind of piecing it together. I was piecing it together. I didn't have running water. So, I go to my parents' house to shower over there. I didn't have connectivity. So I'm like, I didn't have access to internet. So I'm like driving around. Can you hear me now?
Oh my gosh.
De todos no se formaba uno.
Oh my, you know what? And I know your heart. And I know that you're the kind of person that is like, you're not going to sit still. No. And which is why I wanted to honor you and bring you here today to share on what Raíces Unidas do. I saw the pictures. I saw the picture of you and Balde and Brian. I don't know where y'all were in the dark, but you have posted something about the masterminds are coming together. Yes. Stay tuned. And I was like, what's happening? What do y'all mean? Why are you in the dark? Where are you?
We were like, we had already kind of like, I had reached out to them. Well, okay, so I have to say, first and foremost, a huge shout out to Omar Charles and his wife Yahaira. They're on several cooking teams, I believe, but it was actually their idea to do a food distribution. And whenever the tornadoes hit, like 2 months ago or something like that, there you go. Yes, when those hit, I live in downtown, so we were affected. Like I had no AC for like 21 days. I didn't have power for like a week and cachito, like 2 weeks. I don't remember. So, by the time I saw that they were doing a food distribution, it was too late and I couldn't help them. And so, so we did the food distribution. So when I saw that they wanted to do one for Saturday, I jumped all over it. I'm like, guys, can I join you guys? Can I help? What can I do? And they're like, well, yeah, we're trying to do something small. The last time, we did a food distribution for the tornadoes. We fed about 150 people. I'm like, you know what? I want to help. I wasn't able to help you guys at that point because I was in the thick of it myself, and I really didn't have the means. I couldn't organize. I didn't have, I just didn't have the capacity. I said, but right now, all of us are going through it, and I just, Raíces Unidas needs to step up. And they're like, okay, well, this was actually on Wednesday. We did it on Saturday. So I said, okay, yes, let me just tell you how beautiful this became. So then, of course, we're on this group chat, all of our friends, just different people are on this chat. It's about 20 of us, 17, 20 of us. And I said, hey guys, I want to do this. If I know all of us don't really, some of us don't have power, some of us don't have water, we're all displaced, but if you guys want to chip in, if you guys want to get together, let's do it, and everybody, hitting me up, because when you're on that group chat, chinga, and I'm like, oh my God. So everyone individually were reaching out to me. Yeah, Mary, let's do it. Well, just let us know where to be, what you need. I'm like, okay, great. Then I meet with Valde and with Brian, and we're like, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're all for it. So Thursday, I reach out to Omar and his wife, Yahaira. I'm like, guys, I got the team together. What do we need? How many people do we want to feed? We were going to feed 300 people. That's what we were going to feed. That's what our goal was. I'm like, I said, we can feed 300 people. Piece of cake. We had a day and a half. This was Thursday. Saturday, the food distribution was going to happen. So, people like our friends are like, hey, what do you need? How do you need money? I can't get to you. I'm gonna Instacart some stuff over there to you. We're gonna figure this out. Yeah. So day and a half, we fed 1,500 people.
What?
1,500 people. Yes.
Wow. And you did this in my backyard, where I grew up, Jacinto City.
Yeah.
Jacinto City. I was gonna send my parents over there, but but they're like, we're fine, mommy. We're fine, mija. Deja que la gente que no tenga, que vayan a comer. And I'm like, okay, mom, but it's just down the street.
Yeah, no, this was for everybody. And you know what? We gave out 1,500 meals, and we still saved a bandeja of pulled pork for for all the volunteers and their families to come eat, because it was for all of us. We all, it was, I don't tan, I turned red, parecía una sandía. I was like, it was just so.
Were you this color, como?
Yeah, I was. I was Dr. Lira with his whistle. I thought it was, you know what? We all put together. Y luego Valde, bless his heart, he's got his bad knee. So con su bastón, he's directing traffic. It was amazing. It was beautiful. And we fed that many people in 2 hours.
In 2 hours.
Yeah, we were directing traffic. People were we did it was just, it didn't feel like it was work. It didn't feel like work. It felt like it was organic. It was beautiful. And this is what Raíces Unidas does. We organize, we join forces, we connect people to resources, and that is truly my happy place. That's my happy place.
I thought about you. I'm like, okay, something needs to be done. And your heart is always out there making sure that things are taken care of, are attended to. And so thank you. Thank you. I'm like, this is what Mr. Rogers said. Look for the helping people. And you got together with other helping people.
Yes, we all did this together.
So thank you. Thank you for being that softy, mushy person that I love and I know and I cherish, because we're the same. We melt.
We are.
We melt. And you just have been, you led this charge with everybody else. And I just thank you. I was on the plane making changes, because once I saw these things happening, I thought, and I even with my boyfriend, I told him, I go, I know that celebrating is cool, but I want to turn the celebration of our birthdays to something to celebrate all those that have been out there working and supporting. And so why don't we just turn this, instead of it's a celebration of us, but in honor of you know, la gente that was out there, you know, doing the work. And so I switched up the thing. I went to Facebook. I didn't make it big and as open because the location went from a big restaurant to a smaller location that was not going to fit 1,000 people like we always do.
But we're Mexicans.
I know, exactly. So Mexicien. And then and so I said, you know, and he goes, yeah. He goes, I don't feel like celebrating like that. But if we do it in a way where we honor, you know, them, let's do it that way instead. And then I told our fellow hey comadre, hey, we're gonna do this and it's gonna change it. No, comadre, we're still gonna celebrate you. I'm like, okay. Well, we'll do that too. So we had a cake and everything, but we were talking a little bit before we came on.
Let me tell you that this party, by far, hands down, has been, and I'm not just saying this because this is my comadre and I love her and she's just she owns a piece of my heart. I'm not saying it because of that. I'm saying it because it genuinely was the best party that I have been to in a very long time. And I don't say that because it was elite and grand. No. I'm saying this because it was true. It was genuine. It was pure. And, you know, I was saying like off camera that, you know, you could really tell like who was there on, you know, Claudia's side and who was there on Angel's side. Like you got all the... Y'all know I don't mean bad by what I'm about to say, but you have all of the creatives, like Angel party friends, and then you have all the mamonas. That's me. I'm mamonas, you know, and but then next thing you know, everyone's dancing with one another. There's like a full-blown concert. I'm like, where's my tambourine? You know. Sí, esta Pilar started singing. She had everybody in tears. Y luego Ángel, el más romántico de todos, hizo su propio rendition of what was the name of the song? Sabor a mí. Oh my God! I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. Las congas, just everybody was dancing. Everybody was singing. It was perfect.
It was what we all needed. We all needed healing through music. Hubo sobadas, hubo baladas, hubo exorcismos, hubo untadas de cremas, whatever.
Hubo de todo.
Girl, my mom. You see my dad? My dad was there playing with the little. He even had a little happy birthday headband.
My brother was there with like
my brother.
It was just
con el güiro.
It was perfect. It was so perfect. You had people in togas. You had the queen. You had it all.
A ride. We had karaoke. We had everything. And the thing that really everything touched me, but the one thing that really made me chuckle inside was when the music, when I think Fito Olivares started playing.
Yes, Fito Olivares was playing.
And I looked at my mom because that's her jam. No, mija, no puedo porque la asiática y me duele mucho. Me voy a parar.
No, hombre, all but like 2 seconds.
No, you know what she did? She was over there in the corner. Estaba tomándose una pastilla. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? No, pues quiero bailar. Se tomó la pastilla del dolor so she could dance. Girl, my mom was like dancing.
This was the best party ever. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was so much fun. It was just like, it was what was needed. You know, we needed to just, you know, we met new people. We had old friends. We made new friends. And you know, our circle just keeps on growing. You know?
And there will be more. There will be more because we need this. We've been through some tough times, you know, with this weather and coming out of it. And, you know, music heals. I had, you know, my boyfriend always talks about art will save us. Only art will save us. And music, poetry, you know, una soberita también con el men awake, whatever. Una pastillita para el dolor, that too. But being with people and letting your heart out and just being there, that was such a wonderful way for me to celebrate, and for Angel, because Angel's birthday is like July 12th. Mine's on the.
And then he had never celebrated his 50th birthday.
No, he finally celebrated it. Yeah.
I told Claudia, I said, look, Claudia, I love you, but look, we're, Angel, he's a part of the crew. So if for whatever reason this does not work out, we're gonna need an intervention.
I'll be kicked out, not him.
Yeah, because you know what? We need to keep on having these pachangas at his house because, and the funny thing is that because I had, I didn't have power, I didn't have connection. All week, I was so behind on work that I had this report that I had to work on. Yeah. And I finally was, after the party, I had a space where I could use, the connectivity, and then I had someone that could help me because, anyways, I needed help, right? So yes. I was like, I kept on, okay, 10 more minutes. And next thing you know, it's already like 10:30, and I'm like, wow, beggars cannot be choosers. And I'm like, damn it. So, ni modo. And the funny thing is that I had to do my escape while everybody in chinga bailando
was like, yes. And after a while, we're like, where did Marianne go?
Yeah, because had I stayed and said bye, I wouldn't have had the strength to say no.
No.
And it's that willpower that I lack. So I was like, let me
get out of there.
I was like doing this on my way to the door.
Oh, Marianne. Well, thank you so much. It means a lot,
you guys,
for everything you do, for putting your heart out there. I can't wait till you come back to the next convivio. I will have the biggest tambourines for you.
Yes.
And they will have your name and glitter so that no one else can the tambourine.
Me will come out.
But you. But I mean, it was healing. This was, I didn't know how it was going to turn out because, of course, you got my friends, his friends, my family, my parents coming over to his place for the first time, my brother coming over.
Really? It was their first time there?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. My comadro made us feel so freaking welcome. It was my first time there too. I mean, I've been there, I dropped you off a couple times, but I never actually been inside, right? Yeah. And it's so funny because it's such an artist home. It's like we may not have somewhere to sit, but damn it, there's easels everywhere.
There's
freaking easels everywhere. If you can't find
something to drink.
Yes, and that. But you know what? It was freaking perfect. It was perfect. He made us feel so welcome and so at home. And I was telling you earlier, I was like, you know what? It's those unplanned events that become the best. And this by far was the best.
Yes. No. Yeah. We were like, should I do it in my house, your house? And it was going to be in my house. But then he told me, you know what? If it rains, we don't want people to get stuck in your town because my streets flood. He goes, and my house is higher and our streets are higher. He was even talking about that. In case it rains, I don't want all y'all to get stuck in flooded areas. I'm like, there. But his house
even had a cooling. What was he calling you?
Okay. So he's into cold dips.
That's what that was.
Una persona. Y le echó chingos de hielo y agua. And you get in there and people were dunking their head in there to cool off. But you dunk your whole self in there. And that also helps with you and your body and regulation and all that. Toda la madre. And so he had that set out. And we even told people, hey, you want to
It's called cryotherapy.
Ándale, lo que usan para los athletes.
Yeah, cryotherapy. I was like, what the flying is that?
Well, they're not bobbing for apples.
I'm like, what apples? Am I missing something here? Did I not get the memo? What the hell is this?
What else are we doing out here?
He was like, and don't forget to go to the cooling
dip. The cool dip.
And I'm like, I'm thinking like a Cool Ranch dip? Where's the celery? Like, what are you talking about?
Where do I take the broccoli? The
I'm like, what dip? I don't know what dip you're talking about. Y luego que veo una alberca, I'm like, oh, this fool.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was. I can't wait for the next one. I cannot wait for the next one.
We're already playing the next one.
Good.
He's going to be cooking. He is an amazing artist when it comes to food as well.
Oh yeah. I
mean, anything. I'm like, I have this, and that, and nada que ver. And next thing you know, he puts it together, and I'm like, how did you come up with that? Yeah. I couldn't even chat GPT that shit. Can you please help me with tuna and I don't know, a mango and an aguacate? And he comes up with something. But yeah, so we're super excited to host again. And again, art will save us and get us through this. Let's keep, pushing the envelope as what's next once everything calms down and we're cooled down. What is next for these corporations to make sure that they're responsible, that they don't put profit over people. And another thing too, guys, and this is just a note, pay attention to who you're voting for. What we're seeing now has happened was a result of George Bush II, his leadership. This is a legislation that did the deregulation that led to where we're at now. So whoever was in office, whatever, the point is now, whoever is in office now, we need to make sure that, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, we all got hot. We're all affected, whether, we're red side, blue side, purple side, whatever. We all felt it, in our pocketbooks, mentally, financially, spiritually, all of that. So we got to make sure that we, continue. I want to give shout outs to a couple of people too that I was watching. And I know there's so many more, but I saw some of our elected officials out there just sweating it out. State Rep Armando Wally, who lost everything as, power, food. He cooked up as much as he could. He had people coming through his house getting tacos. State Rep or Senator, I think Jarvis Johnson, who was also out there, taking water to especially those locations that had the elderly. So Jarvis Johnson, another elected official out there just gathering stuff. And then one of my comadres that was going to come back today, she couldn't jump on today because actually she is a member of the State Board of Education. So right now she's driving back and forth between Houston and other cities because her job is to make sure that our public education school system is where it needs to be for especially children of color, because the children of color are what makes up the largest number of our public schools. And she just wants to make sure that the materials that are being brought in to be reviewed by the State Board of Ed are correct, are facts, are based on research, not based on feelings and emotions and platforms for different elected officials. But that's her job. And so not only is she reading, books and notebooks and classroom materials, but she was down here in Houston, also got some people together to donate and take it to the elderly and the people in need in the Third Ward area, because there's some pockets of places that, that needed more help than others. And so she stepped up, and just like my comadre here, Marianne. And we have had Stacey Childs before when she was on the board.
We love her.
Yeah, so she couldn't make it, but she will be coming on. But I just wanted to share that. And also I saw State Senator Carol Alvarado out there, Cristina Morales, our state rep, just out there. All of them have been affected and stepped up in the way that they could. And so Mr. Rogers said, look for the people that are helping, and in that way it's not so scary, and that we're all in this together and we get through this on the other side. So,
I do want to say one quick thing, Claudia, now that you mentioned that, I'm grateful for all of those, elected officials that stepped up, because even they were affected. I mean, when you have these type of situations happen, it doesn't discriminate. It gets everybody, right? But, and kudos to them for stepping up even when they were, affected as well. But, with Raíces Unidas, I want to give a huge shout out, on behalf of Raíces Unidas, on behalf of Omar Charles and his wife, Yahaira. Everything, all the food that we passed out, all the people that we fed, all of that was done just on pure donation of, people, volunteers for Raíces Unidas, people that have volunteered in the past, people that, believe in Omar Charles and Yahaira's, helping the community. We didn't utilize any help from elected officials or corporate sponsorships. It was just, and I said this in a speech that I gave that day when we ran out of food, again, as corny as it sounds, but it was literally done by the people for the people.
Yeah, it's people power.
Yeah.
And you just quoted what the government is. The government should be for the people, by the people. Mm-hmm. And we need to put that back.
Yep.
We need to put that back. We need to remind them that it's not about what you get out of your position. It's when we put you in there, you're supposed to represent us and not forget about us, you know. But yeah, everyone, people power, that you were able to corral the people power. And that's where we remind people. I know that sometimes people don't want to say, well, I don't want to get in politics, but you are. Everything is political. The glass of water the water that didn't come out of the pipe when you're trying to drink it, when you're trying to shower, it's all political, you know, where the water comes from, how it's cleaned, how it's processed and arrives to your house. That's political. The street you're trying to get through when it's flooded and you can't get through your neighborhood, to your job, and to safety, that's political. So we need to stop being afraid of using that word politics, because politics isn't everything. You know, from the phones we use, how much we pay for the taxes on the phone usage when you buy one, when you use it, to, you know, look at your bills and look at all the little things that are charged, and ask, why are we getting charged all this, and how is this supporting us in the end? Yes. But yes, let's keep moving forward and educating and people power, because it comes from us. It does. But thank you, Comis. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, Raíces Unidas, y la gente que estaba allí ayudando y apoyando de $1 a $2 a muchos dólares de su propio bolso, que pudieron hacer esto, because that's a sacrifice, you know, because it didn't affect it themselves.
Yeah, but, people, you know, that we were feeding were even giving donations at the time. Oh. I mean, that was just, and we used those donations to go buy more food, because we were running out, you know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it was
beautiful. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for bringing us.
And happy belated birthday. And
thank you. And Ángel también. He finally celebrated his 50th birthday. But I want to close out now with a couple of pictures. Here we are on July 4th, hanging out, enjoying the breeze. That was barrel breeze in our hair right there. Our greñas were everywhere. Yeah. And then I just want to close out with the pictures of us in Cancun, you know, just celebrating my girls' first year at the high school that they were able to get into, PVA. And I told them, all right, we're celebrating birthdays, educational achievements, and everything. Y aquí está our padrino, Chris Piñon, who did a wonderful job capturing my cincuentañera era. So cheers to many more years here on this planet. As long as I can get up and wake up and move, I will be moving to do what I can to support those around me. Even if it's with un convivio, vengan a mi casa, vengan a sentarse. Even when Ilsa called and said, hey, what do we bring? Nothing. You just bring yourself. Don't bring anything. Your job now is to sit and just have a great time. And that's it. That's what I wanted y'all to do.
And that's what we did. And thank you.
That was my birthday present to me. Just watching you guys just rest, sit, have fun, just for a moment, forget about all these things. Or if not, reminisce with someone else, you know, that went through something like
well, we definitely created some beautiful memories that are going to last a lifetime. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for giving us that gift.
Yes. Well, thank you. De nada.
All
right, Mama. Well, I'll see you later. Bye. And we're going to be closing it out. Mwah. Hasta la próxima. Tan tan.
Tan tan, ya se acabó.
Well, that was awesome. Happy birthday. Yes. Do I end it? Do you end it?
I don't know.
Are we taking a picture? Gracias por haber estado aquí en el show Catching Up with Claudia. ¿Tan tan? ¿Ya terminamos? Okay, bye.
Música variada, interesantes shows en vivo, tu mejor opción en internet, Radio Cristal US.